Hey guys, welcome back to Suburban Ranch. Is the front of your old truck looking a little bit tired or maybe completely missing? Well, today we're gonna go from this to this. All right, so before we put the new grill on, I want to talk to you about headlight plugs. So you can see this plug is nice and new, and this is one of the old original plugs, and it's pretty common when you take these apart, especially on an older truck, that these little clips break off. So you can see this is the one of the headlight plugs that I've already replaced, and one of the arms here on the clip is broken off. So this one is actually in decent shape, but I want to go ahead and show you how to replace it. So the first thing you need to do is pry off this back part, and so it's held on with two little clips, one on each side. So just get a small flat screwdriver and pry this up, and then do the same thing on the other side. So here's a look at that retaining clip. Now, even with that off, the wires aren't just going to pull out. So if you look into the end, you'll see that there's a little slot here next to the wire. So right here, there's a little slot, and there's actually a tab that holds these clips in. And so what we need to do is feed something really skinny down into that tab to release these clips from the housing. So I actually picked up this kit from Amazon, and it's got just about every kind of tab release that you could imagine. But all we need to use is the simple single blade tab release. And so what I'm going to do is slide this in right next to the clip. Oops. Just like that, and then I should be able to pull the wire out. There it comes. So there we go. There's the wire with the original clip. And we'll do the same thing on the other one. So again, we'll slide our tool in. And there we go. And so where that clip is that's holding these in place, it actually, when you slide this tool in, it actually bends that clip back a little bit. So in order for this to work in a new housing, we'll just bend this little retainer back up. So now we can see that little retainer is sticking up off of the back. We'll do the same thing on this other one. So this one's been removed. You can see that little retainer is not sticking up. So we'll just bend that up a little bit so that it'll catch the new housing. So there you have it. You can see that it's bent up and it'll catch the new housing. All right, so now that we've got the wires removed from the old housing, we're ready to install a new housing. We'll link the part number for this below, but you can pretty much buy these housings for anything on these old trucks. So you can get one for a high beam or a low beam or even the parking lamps. So we replaced all of these housings because they were all broken in one way or another. So how does this work? Well, basically, we just slide these clips in, and if you listen really carefully, you'll hear it clip in place. There's the black one. And we'll slide the green one in. There we go. So you can see the clips are in place, the wires do not pull out, and we'll go ahead and install our new retainer to hold everything in place. There we go, and that's all there is to it. So the next time you break one of these clips when you're removing your headlights or your parking lights, it's really not too big of a deal to replace it. So the first step is installing a new set of headlights. These are a DEPO, or I don't know, maybe it's DEPO brand, I'm not sure. They look like they're actually pretty decent quality. They come with bulbs included, and like always, we'll link all of these part numbers in the description below. So we'll start out by plugging in our new headlights. There we go. And on the back of the headlights, there are 2 alignment pins. And those are going to fall into the 2 holes in the radiator core support. So you'll line these 2 pins up before you bolt it in. All right, next up we're going to install the grille, but before we install the grille, we're going to install some new corner lights. These are also the DEPO brand. Fit seems okay. Again, all of the aftermarket stuff is not going to fit quite as good as the OEM stuff, but it's really all you can get nowadays. So this just slides in from the outside of the grille, and it has 2 plastic studs that come through the grille. And those are held in place with these self-cutting sheet metal nuts. So they thread right onto those plastic studs. So now that the corner lights are installed, we're going to install the lower valance on the grille. So this is held on with just a series of push pins. So we'll use these new ones, and it just snaps onto the bottom of the grille. All right, so the last component before reinstalling the grille is this center grille support, and it's held on with 2 screws from the front. There we go. So before we put our new grille on, we're going to go ahead and remove the headlights. I know we just put these on here, but we're actually just going to remove the headlight itself. We'll leave the bracket on the truck. And so we do that by removing these 2, I guess, kind of posts. And the reason we're doing this is because it gives you a lot more room to slide the grille in. And I'll just unplug the harness from the bulb itself. Okay, so at this point we're ready to install our new grille. So we'll pull the turn signal wiring harnesses through the grille. We'll tilt it up a little bit and just get this lower filler panel inside the bumper. There you go, that's all there is to it. All right, so with the grille in, we'll go ahead and plug in our corner light. So we'll just feed this into the back of the light. And it's about a 1/4 turn. And that's it, it locks in place. So I've got all of the screws started. They're just snug right now that hold the grille in place. We've went around and just tried to make it fit as best as possible. Obviously it's an aftermarket grille. There's always tiny areas that you wish could be a little bit better, but overall it fits okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and snug up the bolts that hold this grille into place, and there's a total of 8 of them. So we have 1 here at the top. We have 1 here in the front. We have 1 here behind the turn signal. And we'll do the same 3 on the driver's side, so behind the turn signal, on top, and on the front. The last two are both here in the center of the grill, so we've got one here, just a couple of slats down from the top, and one here at the bottom of the grill. All right, so before we install our parking lights and turn signals, we need to install these backing plates that the turn signal screw will actually go into. And these just snap into the grill. So we've got these rectangular, or these square openings. We should be able to compress the front of this backing plate. There we go, there's one, and two, three, and four. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and reinstall our headlights. Okay, so at this point we're ready to install our corner lights. We'll insert our bulbs from the back side. Well, here it is, guys, a finished grill and lights. Overall, I think it looks really good. I know we're still missing a GMC logo. These are actually back ordered right now, so we'll get one when they're available again. A little bit of advice for anybody going about a project like this. You can no longer get the original GM parts. You cannot buy a GM grill or lights or turn signals. The only option here is aftermarket parts, which means you're going to deal with fitment issues. We originally started out using DEPO turn signals and DEPO corner lights, and they fit absolutely terribly. We ended up using TYC brand lights. We'll link all of those part numbers in the description below. But just take your time, use a little bit of finesse. The overall product will look pretty good when you're done. If you enjoyed this project, please do subscribe.